Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into a topic that touches the lives of millions but is, honestly, almost entirely misunderstood. We're talking about the science and prevention of falls in Americans over 60. If you're a focused learner looking to protect your own independence, or maybe the independence of someone you love, well, you are in exactly the right place. Our big goal today is to fundamentally reframe how we think about falling. We're going to replace all that fear and anxiety with some highly actionable, science-backed empowerment. By the time we wrap up, you'll have a clear, proven roadmap to safety.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The fall epidemic. 2. The biology of balance. 3. Hidden hazards and risks. 4. 8 proven prevention strategies. And 5. What to do after.
All right, Section 1, the fall epidemic. Let's look at why this is such a primary health priority.
Let's start by just validating the sheer severity of this issue. We aren't doing this to scare anyone, but we really need to understand what we're up against. Think about this number, 11. Every 11 seconds, literally faster than you can pour a cup of coffee, an older American is treated in an emergency room for a fall-related injury. I mean, by the time I finish this sentence, someone else has just arrived at the ER. And tragically, it gets worse. Every 19 minutes, an older American dies as a result of a fall. That's a staggering 36,000 deaths every single year, which actually makes falls the leading cause of both fatal and non-fatal injuries in Americans over 65. The medical costs are just massive, yet the way our society views these incidents, it's fundamentally flawed.
You see, there's this huge myth out there. People think falls are just random, unpredictable accidents of aging. Just bad luck that happens as we get older. But the fact is, it's the exact opposite. Falls are predictable, they're measurable, and they are highly preventable medical outcomes. They have identifiable causes. In fact, clinical research shows us that comprehensive fall prevention programs can reduce fall rates in older adults by 30 to 40%. So we are absolutely not talking about bad luck here. We're talking about biology and environment.
Which brings us to Section 2, the biology of balance. Let's uncover why falls actually happen.
Look, if you found yourself stumbling a bit more recently, I want you to know something right now. It is not your fault. It's biology. Our balance relies on a whole symphony of systems working together perfectly. And one of the absolute most vital is proprioception. It's a big, fancy word, but it's essential to understand. Basically, it's the network of sensory receptors in your muscles, your tendons, and your joints that feeds your brain continuous, real-time information about exactly where your body parts are in space. It's how your legs and feet detect tiny changes in the ground surface so you can adjust your stride automatically. When this system starts to decline, avoiding a fall becomes exponentially harder because, well, your brain literally isn't getting the ground-level data it needs to keep you upright.
Now, what's really fascinating, and honestly a bit wild, is the sheer scale of the sensory drop-off we experience. Between the ages of 55 and 75, we lose about 40% of the sensory hair cells in our vestibular system. That's the balance center inside your inner ear. And that proprioceptive sensitivity we just talked about, in our lower extremities, it drops by a whopping 50% between ages 20 and 80. So if you've been feeling physically less stable, this perfectly validates your experience. You are effectively operating with roughly half the sensory data you had back in your 20s.
Because of all this sensory loss, your neuromuscular system is forced to work overtime. But the thing is, aging affects that system too. When you trip, you have just 100 to 150 milliseconds to execute a successful balance recovery response to stop that fall. To put that into perspective, it takes 300 milliseconds just to blink your eye. But as we age, we lose those fast-twitch muscle fibers that give us the explosive strength to take a lightning-quick step or grab a railing. By the time our brain consciously registers the stumble, that tiny 150 millisecond window, it's already closed.
Moving on to Section 3, Hidden Hazards and Risks. Let's talk about those external and medical triggers.
So now that we understand the internal biological changes, we've got to look at how they interact with the external world. And one of the most massive, totally under-recognized culprits for falls might be sitting right in your medicine cabinet. Medications are huge here. Benzodiazepines cause sedation and mess with your coordination. Antidepressants can cause severe balance issues. Antihypertensives can lead to sudden dizziness when you stand up. And what's absolutely crucial to grasp is that taking multiple prescriptions doesn't just add to your fall risk, it exponentially multiplies it. The cumulative effect of all those individual side effects creates a highly dangerous cocktail for an already compromised balance system.
So keeping all those biological and medical factors in mind, I want to ask you a question, and I really want you to think about it for a second. Where is the most dangerous room in your entire house? Any guesses?
Well, if you guessed the bathroom, you hit the nail on the head, specifically during a nighttime visit. Just picture this incredibly relatable scenario. You wake up in the middle of the night, you've got sleep inertia, it's pitch black, and your blood pressure has dropped because you've been lying flat for hours. You stumble through the darkness into a room filled with hard, wet, slippery surfaces, and then you have to perform physically demanding actions like getting up from the toilet. This perfectly combines multiple biological vulnerabilities with huge environmental hazards, all at the exact same time. It is literally a perfect storm for a fall.
All right, Section 4. 8 Proven Prevention Strategies. This is your evidence-based plan.
So, the crucial point here, the big takeaway, is that we are absolutely not helpless. Far from it. We actually have a world-class, evidence-based toolkit to help you take back control of your independence. That toolkit includes progressive balance and strength training, doing a comprehensive medication review, correcting your vision, modifying your home, managing orthostatic hypotension, wearing appropriate footwear, keeping up with proper foot care, and optimizing your vitamin D. See, you have incredible tools at your disposal. Now, let's zoom in on a few of the most impactful ones.
Let's start with Strategy 1, balance and strength training. Did you know that Tai Chi has the strongest evidence of literally any single exercise intervention for fall prevention? Clinical trials show it can yield up to a 45% reduction in falls. That's massive. It specifically trains your lower extremity strength and your gait, directly fighting back against those biological declines we talked about earlier. So it's not just a relaxing hobby, it is highly protective armor for your mobility.
Now, let's see how this builds into your daily routine, especially for those nighttime bathroom trips. Here's the exact step-by-step protocol to manage orthostatic hypotension. That's the dangerous drop in blood pressure you get when you stand up too fast. Step 1, rise slowly from lying down to sitting. Step 2, force yourself to sit right on the edge of the bed for a full 30 seconds. Don't rush it. And Step 3, dorsiflex your ankles. That just means point your toes up toward the ceiling. Doing this activates your leg muscles and pumps blood back to your heart before you ever put weight on your feet. It takes 30 seconds, and it could literally save your life.
Next up, footwear. And honestly, this one might surprise you. A lot of us think thick-soled, highly cushioned shoes are the best choice for older joints. But remember proprioception? Those thick cushions actually steal that vital ground feedback your brain desperately needs to keep you balanced. Instead, what you really want are thin, firm, non-slip soles that let your feet actually feel the floor beneath them. Oh, and walking around in just your socks on hardwood or slippery floors, that is a massive hazard that you can easily eliminate starting today. Finally, Section 5, what to do after. How to properly react to a stumble. Because look, even with the absolute best prevention plan, stumbles can still happen. And we need to address this post-fall reality directly. Why? Because how you react to a minor stumble dictates your future health. Every fall, even if you feel completely fine afterward, requires a medical evaluation. A fall is a medical signal. It's a warning bell for unseen injuries, like a subdural hematoma, or maybe minor fractures in osteoporotic bone that might not hurt right away. It also tells us your hidden risk factors have crossed a dangerous threshold. Plus, just the fear of falling after you've had a stumble is a huge risk factor all on its own. Because fear stops people from moving, and restricting your daily activity rapidly accelerates muscle loss and balance decline, pretty much guaranteeing another fall.
So we've covered the stark reality, the biology, the hidden hazards, and your proven toolkit. Remember, start with just one thing, then add another. The cumulative reduction in your fall risk could literally be the difference between maintaining your independence and institutionalization. Fall prevention is not about being perfectly safe in a bubble. It's about systematically stripping away the risks. So my final question to you is this. Will you let the fear of falling dictate your future? Or will you pick just one strategy from this explainer today? Whether that's changing out your shoes, sitting for 30 seconds before you stand up, or maybe finally signing up for that Tai Chi class. And transform your fear into a lifelong plan for independence. The choice and the power is entirely in your hands. Thanks for learning with me today.